know, I don't even know how I turned off the last stream, but it showed me the analytics and hit at 0.01 seconds of being watched. And whoever that was, thank you. I appreciate you. I mean, you wouldn't be here to hear the whole statement, but that's fine. Right, so I ended. I'm just gonna start from the beginning on Chestmere. I think maybe it was the universe telling me that the way I went about explaining that beginning was just terrible. So Chestmere was born without a whole arm and without half an arm. He was handless. Couldn't even jack off, the poor bastard. Did it just end again? What the fuck is even happening now? I mean, it's working, I guess so. Yeah, but he couldn't even jack off, the poor bastard. And his family were kind of dicks about it. He was like from a poor family and like 3 fucking siblings, and it just wasn't going very good. And my armless dude just, yeah. I mean, you know, you can imagine it, right? Like, as terrible as it is, it's kind of understandable. Okay, that's not excusable, but understandable that the parents who were poor and didn't really have money would be a bit worried about this because he can't really work anywhere. Well, that's their view on it, kind of close-minded. But eventually, they agreed to the wonderful sentiment that the best thing to do with Chestmere was to just abandon him. A great parent, I'd say. Jesus Christ, yeah. I mean, they were dicks, as some people would call it. Terrible people, a lack of compassion, whatever the fuck. And they just were like, you know, they were gonna straight up. Cause okay, so the way this happened, it wasn't like his parents were openly abusive to him this whole time, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Ah, get out of his house." They were like, I don't know how to say it properly, but like avoidantly complied with his existence, you know, like really they didn't openly show their distaste or like their disappointment almost in having him as a son, but they did, like, he could tell. What the fuck? Who was here? What is this? Who was here for 2 fucking minutes? Get the fuck out. Sorry. I'm being a bit mean there. But I hope you can understand. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen. I'm not listening. Sorry, dude. I'm not. They weren't like openly abusive to him, but they would get frustrated with him. With things that clearly weren't his fault, as like he was born without arms, and like it's not like he was useless, but they perceived him as such. And he was also a kid. He was like 8, and his parents basically said, "Alright, we're gonna abandon this kid." And while they did feel some remorse, his mother basically took him to the market and was like, "Hey, wait here for me." But like Chestmead basically knew what was happening because he wasn't that stupid at that point. And was basically left there, yeah. Honestly, I need to think of that better. The market was very far away. Why do I say that? Because otherwise you just go home. Let's say they went to the next town. And like, at some point she's like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna go on a little trip with my mom to the market. Like, my parents and my siblings, dude, that's great." And then the truth hit him and he was like, oh fuck. But he was accepting of it because he saw himself as a burden too, mainly because like the majority of his family treated him as such. And then a fucking rich-looking stranger came up to him like, "Hello there." Whoa, that's exactly how it happened. But basically offered for Chestmead to go with her, and of course he was like, "Yay, he's an 8-year-old abandoned kid." And she was basically like, "I'm gonna give you arms," because what this girl does is basically she does, well, this woman, she's not a girl, but she makes like, what would I call them? Automatic parts? Automatons. She's the ringleader. Oh, I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know the name, like the leader or like the owner of, not necessarily a circus, but like a attraction. I'm not sure what they call it, entertainment park. Yeah, and the funny thing about her is that all the staff are actually disabled people. Wow, what a nice soul, you may be thinking. But I am sorry to inform you that that is in fact the opposite of what happens, because she takes these disabled people, and most of the time physically disabled, so they're like missing something, and she enhances them with the automatic parts. But not in like a natural, great way. But she kind of goes overboard with the creativity, you could say, and just goes on and on and on, and just does the most wildest shit. And that's what the park is about. It's like something like, you know, the park of automatic wonderland. Like, you know, basically the people, like, if somebody was missing a leg, she wouldn't give them a leg. She'd like make something like this, perhaps, you know. And she got off on making it really weird, and she could never really stop herself. No, she doesn't normally take kids, mainly because kids grow, and yeah, she would need to redo the port, but she was like, Chest Beauty made an impression on me. It's not because she's a pedophile, for once. Congratulations, you checked off that one box of goodness. I guess that's the only thing you have going on for yourself, really. She does give him arms, it's a painful procedure, but, you know, good enough, and he basically starts working, eventually. First as like a sort of a helper, and then eventually as like the show leader. So he's like the presenter. Yeah, the presenter, basically. And she constantly tells him about her plans. By the way, she is completely disconnected from how immoral the things she does are. And the people that, well, she basically tortures them all, but like, you know, the people that work for her, quote unquote, never really complain, because it's the only option they have. Like, society has basically thrown them away, and this is the only thing they can do. And if you're thinking, wow, is this commentary for like disabled people and like, you know, people who don't really fit the norm, often not having any other choice for how to make money but exploit themselves for entertainment? And yes, it is. Aren't you a clever little bastard? How'd you figure that out so quick? 'Cause I told you? Holy. Yeah. But that's basically the connotation. Anyway, because Chestmute is an 8-year-old little kid, he doesn't really realize how immoral and like how fucked up it all is. Mainly because like all the other people that are in the same situation, so all the like workers, comply with it, because they don't want to go against the woman that I didn't give a name yet, because, you know, she basically, they're dependent on her for their continued existence, which is not the greatest relationship to have with anyone, as you can guess, I think. But slowly but surely, Chestmute starts to realize how fucked up it is. But he's also the favorite of the woman, because he just brings him around and often just gets him to look at like the different repairs and upgrades she's making, and he kind of gets to try out some stuff for him too and get good. Well, not get good, but get like the basics of this mechanic stuff, which is a big thing, because, alright, I'm gonna delve into world building here. It's really hard to get to the schools that teach it, and it's kind of a push thing. Like, you won't likely get to learn it unless you're from money, and unless you have money, you will likely not have the like access to it. Well, this is gonna become play later in Chestnute's life even more. But yeah, as he learns to do these little repairs, a lot of the workers are like, I don't know, they're like his family, could almost say at this point. I just don't have names for them, but they kind of try to coerce him into repairing any, like, what would you call these? Little little things that have broken on their bodies, basically, because they're too scared to go to the woman. Because she could kind of, she goes overboard. So basically, she's not just gonna burn him; she's gonna add something extra. Like they don't really want that. So he becomes like the, what would you call it, resident Bob the Builder. And a lot of what he has to do is kind of stuff he doesn't have experience with, but as the word spreads, all of them would rather come to him than the woman, because he's not gonna like augment them in fucked up ways. And yeah. By the way, the woman has plans for what she's gonna do with Chestnut. She kind of goes into this like incredible presenter, so he'd like be literally connected to the park and fly around, like move stuff off the park. It's crazy, alright? She's crazy. And Chestnut is terrified. And as his kind of like 18th birthday is approaching, which is like, kind of like the, oh, you're not gonna grow anymore, Mark. He's getting more and more like scared of what's going to happen to him, mainly because he gets to constantly see what happens to the people around him who are more and more augmented and kind of lose themselves in that somewhere, right? Because sometimes she fucks up and there's a lot of nerves going on, especially around the brain, and like people literally, you could compare it to getting lobotomized in like what kind of effect it has. So yeah, that's why he drinks, so he gets through the day, and it's like, yeah, I'm drunk, so it's fine. It's brilliant. And then, as his 18th birthday approaches, he just runs away. And that's basically when the story takes place, almost slightly after that. Chestnut basically takes up different repairman jobs because he knows how the technology works. Because the problem with the technology of this world is that everyone has it in their home, but it's needlessly complex. So no one can really repair it themselves, and instead they need to rely on the people like, on the government, or like the people who learn how to do it in school to do it for them. But Chestnut knows how to do it, and he does it for cheap. And he's also often drunk. And that's basically his thing. He's like a walk-around repairman and makes a name for himself that way.
The wreckage of the Titanic has just been discovered at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, and on a small farm on the Kansas-Colorado border.
And that's how he comes in contact. What is this song? I've never even heard it. What the fuck? Why is it doing this? I just don't understand. It's because I'm watching it, is it?
Father drives his screaming, hemorrhaging wife to the local clinic, a four-bed facility housed in a converted Airstream trailer. The presiding physician is Dr. Charlie Von Koop, a local denture maker of dubious training with eccentric religious beliefs.
The labor is long and painful, and Louisa Neville, a Mennonite girl who had given up a promising career as a legal assistant to join her first and only love on the rundown farm that was his only inheritance. May her soul rest forever in peace.
Okay, I'll get back to it, yeah. So that's basically where, in the story, you'd meet Chestnut, and he'd be brought in by somebody else who, like, knows this, like, guy who does knows how to work with technology, but also is drunk most of the time and kind of out of pocket. And yeah, there, I think, at least I can't think of anything too significant happening until some way, somehow, because these, somehow, a girl gets hurt. Okay. Some little small girl, and she's gonna die. Her lung is basically collapsed, so she can't live with this shit. And there's one person who knows how to do like augmented lungs, or like artificial lungs, because he's done it. He's seen it being done, and he's had to make a lot of repairs on it until that person eventually died. And maybe, just maybe, he feels he's a bit responsible for that. And yes, you guessed it, you geniuses. It is Chestnut. You fuckers. You could be writing this story for me. Oh shit. I'll stop, alright? I know how cringe it is. No, I didn't know. I just realized. So now I know, so I'm gonna stop.
Killing him instantly.
This is boring. I'm sorry. Play something, please.
He radios
This is a nice thing. Alright. So, where the fuck was I? Okay, great. So, all the other ones at this point think Chestnut is like quite an idiot. I would also like to say quite like, you know, it's no surprise that they think so, because the way he's been acting is a bit, you know, he's just gotten drunk around him and all that shit, so. Yeah, he basically brings this home to like their fucking shared place or fucking. He doesn't really live anywhere. Most of the time, he just like he has like his garage. So sometimes he sleeps there, but other times he just squats at other people's places. Especially this one lady. She's gonna become important later, but she's got like a mostel, and he often just comes into, and then she has to chase him out of it. It's like their little game they play. Anyway. Yeah, so he's basically having like a mental breakdown about, oh, should I help this girl, but like, do I have the right, but I know how to, should I, and like, kind of like, holy shit, how could the woman do this, because like, this is fucking intense of a choosing process, but eventually he's like, alright, I'll do it, because he feels guilty. And basically steals her. She's in like a, I want to say, because they bring her to the hospital, right? Chestnut, kind of out of his mind, just brings her to where the others live, or like one of the others, and like, are you stupid, bring her to the hospital, she's gonna die. So they don't really give a shit about her in the hospital, he steals her. Skedaddle. He's just kidnapped a little girl. Dying little girl. That makes it any better. In most cases, it probably wouldn't. But yeah, that's where we are at. And Chestnut goes on a wonderful ride to try to make artificial ones. Like, funny thing, Chestnut doesn't actually know how to do this. The reason why it's so hard to get the education on this in the first place, and why it's so hard to get it if you don't have money, is because it's hella hard. You can imagine, you need to connect the nerves, you need to connect everything. Most of them tend to be limbs, but like legs are also a different level of everything. Really. But Chestnut fucks up. He basically makes the situation worse a lot of the times with different kinds of infections and just shit going wrong all around. And he's like, I'm gonna fix that, and basically just puts more automatic parts in the girl, and yeah. He basically has a mental breakdown of about being like the woman all the time. This is just a continuous mental breakdown, alright? And it's not gonna stop anytime soon. Yeah, eventually he manages to get the girl to work. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna call it, enough to be awake and be alive, but she constantly needs to be hooked up to something, and he constantly needs to be checking everything and shit like that. And she's just very different looking and just went through the most traumatizing thing of her life. But that's secondary. And you know, the others at this point find her. I don't know who the others are, because I just haven't thought of the other characters. But they find her in this state, and they kind of question the rather weird acting, at least to what they know about him. Chestnut, about what the fuck is going on, and oh yeah, he also asks a different person to get him a battery. Okay, I'm skipping for the story so much, but yeah, basically there are weird disappearances of rather expensive equipment, which is just Chestnut stealing it because he needs it. And then he also asks this one like broker guy, or like this, you know, connections guy, to get him like a battery or something of that kind. Very powerful and very hard to get. And eventually, this group of characters, those are also the ones who know him, they track down the one who's been stealing all the things. It's their job to find him for whatever fucking reason. And yeah, they managed to find Chestnut. And you know, they question him, and he tells them what's happening. And they're like, you know, we'll do this. We'll figure this out. And then someone's like, hey, I remember this like place which could have what you're looking for. I believe it's like a broken down park where there used to be a lot of automaton things, and you could like get it from there. And really, at this point, Chesmere is a bit too out of his mind to put 2 and 2 together. So he's like, yeah, let's do that. It's brilliant, great. And they go on a field trip to this automaton place, which is a wonderful thing if you like angst. If you don't, then I think it would be rather unfortunate for you, because
No. Well, yes.
this is definitely the worst moment in Chesmere's life. Sorry for the spoilers, I guess.
I missed them.
But basically what happened is that, as you have guessed, and as all the other characters will get to know, this is the park that Chesmere used to be a part of.
The year is 1991.
Except it's fucking abandoned.
It's the highest grossing film of the box
Now,
office.
this wouldn't be much of a problem because it of course eliminates
And after 7
any
years,
possibility of the woman
Socialist republics has collapsed.
And on a chicken ranch just
Like,
outside of Claxton, Georgia.
you know, catching Chesmere and doing the augmentations she wanted on him, like all the stuff around that. Except, the unfortunate part is that she left all the modified, like disabled people there. And most of them have been modified to the point where they cannot function without some proper maintenance. So they were just left to fend for themselves and to die a painful death, and now they're rotting corpses on pieces of like metal are basically lying everywhere. So what I want to say by this is that I don't even know if I can call this a mental breakdown at this point. It's definitely an intense experience for Chesmere, who spends most of it, as far as I've figured, just screaming and crying. But they get what they need by the end of it. So it's all good. It's all good, because look, Chesmere is currently running to the girl he's supposed to save, so clearly he's fine. He's in the right state of mind. And yeah, he's not. I think you've already guessed that. You clever. I don't want to listen to this. You clever geniuses. Basically what happens is that he puts everything now into saving this girl. Like, that's his one lifeline. And so far, as far as I figured, she just gets more and more unfortunate things happen to her. Because Chesmere doesn't know how to do this properly. He isn't doing this sanitarily. He isn't doing this according to how it should be done. Still lost. And what he basically does is that he just can't fucking physically stay in a fucking garage anymore. But he's like sick of himself and everything. I think you can imagine how a person would feel in that situation, or at least how a very angsty character would.
Jedna ze 30 farem v Česku, kde se chová skot do hamburgerů pro beka. Tohle je můj dnešní průvodce. Já vám
Okay. Basically doesn't respond to her at all. She's like, hey, yeah, this is how you act normally. And then he just squats on her couch for multiple days, and she just gets more and more concerned, until at some point she decides to arbitrarily adopt him. Yeah, and that's where I'm at now with Chesmere. He's an enigma. What does that mean? I do not remember, but I'm sure it has a wonderful meaning that's really cool. Yeah. And that's it for story time today. Hope you enjoyed it. I was very happy with the happy ending. Yeah, I also thought of him meeting his sister and like his family. Because it's just fun, isn't it? yeah, look, the progress I make is so minimal, it's actually pretty sad. And like, you just cannot tell what's going on. Oh god, but I think it makes the whole game better. This song, I like it, but only one specific part of it. The rest just drags on. I just realized the perspective on this is what I like to call very fucking wrong, but it's so difficult to fix. Oh my god, I don't even know what I want to say. Yeah, it's fixed. I fixed it just now, right? It's all good. Don't even look at it. Don't even mention it, actually. You know, I prefer that. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm really finding myself to continue doing this, because it seems like an endless battle, really. I know what you're thinking, why did you put so many details in? It's useless, it doesn't serve any purpose, I know. I'm very much aware. I've been doing it for like an hour. Like it feels like, you know, I've done my due part for now. I just really feel like taking a nap. Oh my god, I mean, it's not gonna kill me, is it? But I probably won't wake up from it. Look, I'll try it out. I hope you aren't too sad, you guys. Yeah.